Okay, I'm live. I am a couple minutes late. I'm sorry about that. Just while people are piling in, I am about to start sending links to people. So since nobody's here, I'm just gonna let everybody wait for a second. Hold on, just 1 second, guys. Nobody's here anyway. If you're watching this on a playback, you can just skip forward for a couple minutes. Okay, I'm live. So I am. Just do that real quick. Just skip forward a couple minutes. I'd appreciate that. How is everybody's night going? Hopefully well. Mine is going okay so far. Very busy but pretty productive, I should say. Oh, we already have somebody watching right now. Hello, watcher of what I am doing. How are you? Oh wait, I'm not able to see the. But to see what you're saying, hold on. If you do leave a comment. All right, here we go. Okay. Okie doke. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. I'm live right now, and I'm doing this by myself. I haven't done a live by myself, and I've done maybe one or two lives by myself, and then after that, I have guests and guests and guests on because I like to have the dialogue, the open dialogue, where people can share different opinions. Because it's not just my opinion. I don't think I'm right about everything in every situation, every circumstance. I like to have people with different opinions, different audience, and stuff like that. I think it's fun. I think it's educational. But this one, I am going to. This one I'm going to do by myself because there are some things that I wanted to discuss that nobody else is able to. That if I did it by myself, and I know I seem distracted right now, if I did it by myself, people would be, having their opinions. People would be able to naysayers and things like that. So I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it by myself. So without further ado, I know this is like 2 minutes. If you're new, like if you're watching this from the playback, just skip like maybe 3 minutes in. So what we're going to discuss in this live is the black sellouts. And when I say black sellouts, I mean black people who want to be somebody else, black people who want to identify with somebody else, black people who are not on code. And people ask me, why am I so hard on black people who do certain things? Everybody doesn't have to be like super rah pro black, which is the truth. Everybody doesn't have to be the most woke, revolutionary pro black person. But there is a line between being pro-black and then being anti-black. And there's a lot of black people who are actually anti-black. There's a lot of black people who through their actions betray the group and set the group back. I don't know if you guys watched the movie Django, and there was a slave, the slave master, and there was a slave, a house slave, played by Samuel Jackson, and he was the one who was pretty much in love and infatuated with white people. His master, he hated black people, and we have black people in our society like that today. We have black people who know the code. They know kind of what the code is. They know what they should and shouldn't be doing. But the issue is that black people have this mindset that they think that they can do whatever by themselves. They think, I don't have to make the sacrifices for the group. I'm going to do what best fits me, and the group, the group is just the group. I don't have to make any sacrifices for the group. I don't have to follow the rules of the group because there's no punishment for not following the rules of the group. So I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And it's up to us as black people to check those people. And so we can have an agenda. And when I say an agenda, that doesn't necessarily mean all black people thinking the exact same way. Let me see something real quick. Okay, hold on. Let me just see something real quick. Okay, so that doesn't mean black people think in the same way, but that means all black people have the mentality of black progress, black empowerment is the ultimate goal. So when you do something that is against the progress of the goal, you're technically being a traitor to the cause. Now, I'm saying that to say there are, like I said, there are some black people who do that. I'm going to wait for a couple more minutes because I don't want to keep replaying the videos. Hold on for 1 second. For 1 second. Okie doke. Yep. Okay. So that doesn't mean. Sorry about that. So without any further ado, I would like to get into our first video. The first video that I'm going to review is going to be this video. Now, let me back up a little bit. I made a video like a few weeks ago about this anti-Asian racism propaganda, where they're saying that black people are randomly, collectively attacking Asians because they're Asians, and black people have this pent-up aggression and hatred towards the Asian community, and that we're just lashing out on all Asian people and we're just attacking all Asian people, which is not the case. And I made a video breaking that down, and in that video you had a lot of Asians. There's like a lot of people from the Asian community who have an issue with what I said. And what I said, I necessarily wasn't attacking the Asians. I wasn't bashing. I could have went a lot harder, honestly. I just wanted to get to the bottom line. I could have went a lot harder. I still have enough information and videos to make a part 2 of that one part that you guys should definitely check out after this. But we're having this thing where we're told that black people are being racist towards Asians. Now, Asians have historically been racist towards black people. With the case of Latasha Harlings, the 15-year-old black girl who went into a Korean shop to buy some juice, and the Korean store owner shot her in the back of the head, shot and killed her in the back of the head, didn't go to prison at all. You have the, hold on for 1 second. I got to do all this stuff by myself, you know what I'm saying? You have the many cases of black women getting abused and beaten up, beaten in nail salons. You have black people just being openly discriminated against. Anytime you go to a Chinese store, you'll have a Chinese person looking around the corner watching you. All of these years of things that Asians have done against the black community. The fact that Asians wanted to take away affirmative action because Asians kind of technically view themselves as the second white people. And this is the truth, they view themselves as the second white people, and the racism that black people face due to the Caucasians, racism that black people face because of the Caucasians is pretty much the same with the Asian community as well. The Asian community has the same, if not an equal amount of hatred for black people. There's racist commercials in Japan where there was this one commercial where I guess a black dude ate a bar of soap or something, and he went to a dishwasher or a washing machine or something, came out a clean Asian man, implying that black people are nasty and dirty, and to clean them up would be Asian people. There are, in museums in Asia, there are black people who are compared to literal monkeys. There is a picture of a black person, and there is a picture of a monkey right next to the black person, side by side. as if black people are animals. And then they come over here, they put their shops in our business. When they put their shops in our business, we patriotize their business. They take our money that we earn, they go back to their community. They go to school, they feed their families off of our community. They don't employ us. We don't see anything off of that. Now, this has been going on for years, ever since I was a kid. This has been going on. Now, some people might say, oh, well, all Asians don't act like that. All Asians aren't racist. This isn't about all of anybody. Are all white people racist? No, every single last white person on the face of the earth is not racist. No. Is every single cop on the face of the earth a bad cop? No. But we're talking about the collective. We're talking about what is done among the majority of the people in that group. And among the majority of the people in that group is anti-black racism. And black people have not really called it out like we should have. We've supported them. We've patriotized their business. When the Asians were locked up in the internment camps, black people were sending them food and sending them resources and things like that for the little bit of time that they were locked up. There was actually Asian slave owners too. So Asians have this anti-blackness that black people have been refusing to realize. Then this propaganda came out that black people are randomly attacking Asians, and what are we gonna do? Why are black people doing this? Why do black people hate us? And I already made a video that you guys should check out breaking that down. So I have Asians coming up to me like, okay, you know what? We're gonna deal with black people. So I said, black people need to stay out their stores permanently. No boycotts, because the issue with boycotts is the concept of boycotts are supposed to be a temporary thing, like the Montgomery bus boycott. After they changed the laws to where black people can sit on the front of the bus, black people started riding the bus again. When I say we need to stop shopping at Asian businesses, I mean like that is total period. Stop it. Abandon that and try to supplement the Asian businesses with the black-owned businesses. Because Asians do not shop at black-owned businesses. That's against their culture to shop at black-owned businesses. They will go out of their way not to shop at black-owned businesses, but they'll put their business in our community, and we'll get our nails done from them. We'll buy our hair supplies and hair care stuff from them. We'll go and buy their food, but they won't shop. They won't do anything but sell to us. We are only their customers. We're not their business partners. And what we need to understand is we should not be doing business more than they will do business with us. If they're not going to shop with us and patriotize our businesses, we should not shop with them and patriotize their businesses. Now, the first video that I'm going to show you guys is of this black woman. Now, we all know what's going on where Asians are now super hyper racist because there's this propaganda that black people are just attacking Asians for no reason at all. Black people are attacking Asians. So now what we have is we have people who put themselves in dangerous situations where they will be treated racist. Well, they will be treated, targeted by racist people. And then they want to pull out their cell phones and then they want to be like, oh my God, how is this happening to me? How is this happening to me? So I'm going to show you this video and then I'm going to make a comment off of this video right here.
So I am currently in the beauty supply store.
Sorry about that. I apologize. I muted the mic. Let me unmute that so you guys can hear. Yeah, okay. Okay, here we go.
So I am currently in the beauty supply store in Norwood by Xavier University. And I had somebody following me so closely.
Hold on for 1 second. But as you were saying, in Asia they assume they are not racist. And you said in Asia they assume that they're not racist. I am turning. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Outputs. Every time you do this, you have to change something around. So, there you go.
So I am currently in the beauty supply store in Norwood by Xavier University. And I had somebody following me so closely. Like every time I turned, he turned. Like it was real ridiculous, right? A staff member approached me like, "You okay?" Because they saw the stuff going on. So I politely told them when I came to the front how I felt as a patron of this store. Like I was being intimidated because I was black and I did not need to be followed because I'm not going to steal. The gentleman here proceeds to then get smart with me, start talking in whatever Korean or whatever language he speaks, and start yelling. So then I start getting loud too. Like, look, no, you need to understand. You guys are minorities as well, and it's wrong to treat people like that. We patronize them, and then they treat us with disrespect. They got their phones on me. I don't care about none of that. They threatened to call the police on me. What they need to understand is, like I told them, call the police because I have a right to express how I feel as a patron of this store. I said that you also should probably, let's do this together, sis. I said that you all should probably understand that how customers feel when you all are being rude.
Okay. That's the end of that. You guys can let me know what you think about that video. But first off, I want to address this, and I had this other argument with somebody. The term "you understand how we feel," the whole "you understand," that doesn't faze anybody. Only black people are foolish enough to believe that somebody else. First off, nobody else understands how black people feel. We need to stop that. Oh, you can understand how we feel. Black people have been in a very unique position. Other people have their issues, and this isn't to undermine anybody's issue. Other people have had their issues, but black people have had a very unique position in the world, being targeted by every other group in the world for half a millennium. Okay? Nobody understands what black people are going through except other black people, especially not these other minorities. The issue with the word minority, and why I say we should kind of abandon using the term minority, is because that implies that all non-white people are in the same boat, are in the same situation. In my reparations video that I did not too long ago, in the video I did about reparations, where I was interviewed about my opinion on reparations, I said, if black people were stabbed and we still have the knife in our chest, and we go into the hospital and you have an Asian person, because she's talking about Asians. So you have an Asian person, and the Asian person fell off their bike and they twisted their ankle. And the doctor is out, and the doctor has limited time to see somebody. The doctor can only see one person at a time. The doctor has to make a comparison between, okay, who is the one most in need? Who is the one who deserves the most attention right now? Black people can't say, well, you know what? We're all in the hospital together. We're all in the hospital. So I can't say I deserve any more attention than you deserve. I can't say that because we're in the hospital together. We're all in the same hospital. No, you make comparisons. And this is why we have to get away from people who say, oh, let's not play the oppression Olympics. I heard Nick Cannon say that. This is the oppression Olympics. Because you can only make priorities. This goes out to everybody. You can only make priorities when you compare things. That's how you determine what needs to go first, what needs to be a priority. If you have a bunch of different groups who have all been subjugated, who have all been victimized in various ways, in various levels, you can't say, oh, well, they're all subjugated. They're all in the same boat. No, one is kind of inconvenient sometimes, and then another one is full-on oppressed 24/7, every day, every night. You can't say, okay, well, both of them go through hardship, so let's put them in the same boat. You can't do that. Another reason why I say that is because, and I put this on my Facebook. I'm going to share this to the Afro Elite page, which you guys should follow. In the 1960s, when affirmative action became a thing, the reason why affirmative action was a thing was because black people who were equally qualified as their white counterparts for a position, for a job, or for school, or whatever, they were getting denied simply because they were black. No other reason they were qualified, no other reason except the fact that they were black. So affirmative action said, okay, you have to have a quota for black people. You have to have a quota for your company, your business, your school, or whatever. Eventually, I think 2 years later, the word black was out of there and they replaced it with the word minority. Now, black people didn't make a fuss about that because they're like, okay, well, black people are still minorities technically. Black people are still minorities technically. So it's not like it's a bad thing that is just including other people. So when it's including other people, that wound up being able to filter black people out. Now, the policy that was made for black people, because black people were discriminated against, that policy benefits white women more than it does black people. And I am going to post that. You guys can follow me on my social media. I'm going to post that later so you guys can read the article on that. But this is the important reason why we cannot include other people. Because we need special resources. We have been through a special trauma, a special grievance, and we need special atonement for that. When you include other people, you give them the ability to disproportionately give the resources and the atonement to that other person and say, well, I gave it to minorities. There's no saying of how much resources I should give to each minority as long as it's in minorities. So you can give it to a white person who claims to be a Native American and say, well, they're a minority technically, so you can't say I'm racist. You can't say anything because they're a minority. Which is why it is very, very important for us to get rid of the term minority. And a lot of people don't want to, a lot of black people, let's be honest, and this is not to say that nobody else has gone through anything ever. This is to say we need to prioritize who needs to be atoned for first. What grievance needs to be atoned for first. Because Native Americans got something. The Chinese people got something. There's the Asians, Japanese, they got something. The Jews got something. Black people didn't get anything. And when you say we're not playing the oppression Olympics, that's like I said, going into the hospital when you have a knife sticking in your stomach and somebody's going in because they broke their thumb, and the doctor is saying, okay, well, you're both in the hospital, you're both in pain somewhat. I'm not going to compare the level of danger. I'm not going to compare the severity between the two instances. I can see the one with the broken thumb first. No, the one with the knife in his chest needs to go first. So I'm going to show you now. Before I show you this, I'm rushing a little bit. Before I show you this, there are black people. This is the code, okay? You need to be, when you're talking about black issues, stay on black. Because when you add certain groups into it, you dilute everything. Because Asians did not go through chattel slavery. The Hispanic Mexicans, they didn't go through chattel slavery. The Jews didn't go through chattel slavery. Nobody did. Jim Crow, legal segregation, black laws, sharecropping, all these things were black people things. They were not Asian people things. They were not Mexican people things. All of these things are black. There's not a single thing that they've gone through that we haven't gone through. But there's a lot of things that we've gone through that they haven't gone through. So this is why it is important when we're talking about ourselves to specify and stay focused on ourselves. We can't pretend as if everybody's in the same situation, so let's just make this big group, this big inclusive group, because they don't do that. Even if you guys don't necessarily believe me right now, I want you guys to mind the fact that anytime you hear a Hispanic person talking about the children that's locked up in cages, or the Mexicans at the border, ICE or something like that. When you hear them talking about ICE, or you hear them talking about the kids in cages, do you ever hear them divert from, okay, well, we can't talk about the kids in cages until we talk about the black people who are falsely incarcerated. Now, there's black people who spend their entire childhood in jail. Mind you, there's no difference between a jail cell and a cage. They're the same thing. They're called different things. But the Central Park Five spent their whole childhood in a prison for a crime they didn't commit. I'm not saying it's not wrong for the Hispanic kids locked up in the cage. They're not spending their entire childhood in the cage, though. But you don't hear, when you hear a Hispanic, the immigrant advocate or whatever, you don't hear them say, okay, well, we need to talk about the black people too. We can't just talk about us. You don't hear a Jewish person or a rabbi, if you was to ever hear them talk about the Holocaust or Adolf Hitler or the struggles that they have been through. You don't hear them say, well, we can't talk about the Holocaust without talking about chattel slavery. You don't hear them say, we can't talk about us. We can't focus specifically on us without talking about black people. You don't hear any other group say that. When it's about them, it stays on them. When the Native Americans, and I'm doing the air quotes because a lot of these people who identify as Native Americans are really white people. They're not actually Aboriginal people, descendants of Aboriginal people. They're white people who paid $5 to the census so they can be considered Native Americans so they can get tangibles. When they talk about, oh, we need land, we need grants, we need this, they don't pay taxes, none of this. They don't say it's wrong for us to get something without it being, without black people also getting something as well. They don't say that. If you guys can please leave a like too. We're almost at 100 subscribers. I'm trying to get that tonight. So the more likes that you give, the more likes that you leave, that's going to help the channel by helping other people find the channel. Somebody said there is no comparison. If there is no comparison, then how do they find out the majority and who is the minority? Segregation is only meant to keep the less fortunate at the bottom. It's all about capital. Whoever has the money runs the business. And as we know, all countries are ran by... Now, they are pretty much rich people do run the country. It is all about capitalism. But what we need to understand is, and something I want to talk about capitalism. I don't view capitalism as a bad thing. I don't think that there's anything wrong with capitalism in and of itself. But American capitalism is a racist capitalism system. American capitalism is not fair capitalism. Because in fair capitalism, everybody should have an equal chance, despite their race, despite their background or whatever. Everybody who is equally qualified should have an equal chance to get capital. But white people have attained wealth in capital and has kept that in white society, is frozen in white society, and they discriminate against anybody, especially black people, particularly black people, from getting that capitalism. And they say, okay, well, now it's capitalism. They don't want socialism because they don't want to break away from the things that they've kept black people from. But it's not as if capitalism was fair, if it was completely fair, it would be no problem for black people. But the thing is, it's not fair. The thing is, when a black person gets their house appraised, their house is going to be appraised for less money than a white person with the same house. I'll put an article in the Facebook group where a black couple had their house appraised, and when their house appraisal came back, the money was low. So what they actually did is they called, and they called to have it rescheduled, the appraisal rescheduled. But they had their white neighbor pretend to be the owner of the house. And when the appraisal company thought that the white couple or neighbor was the owner of the house, they were willing to appraise the house for a higher amount than they would for the black house. So black people own the house, black people doing everything fair and square, but they would still give more money to the family just because they're white. Only because they're white. There's no They didn't do anything to the house. They didn't remodel the house. It wasn't. Nothing has changed except the fact that people thought that black people, the appraisal company thought black people own the house. So we're going to give you this much money, but when we think it's white people, we're going to give you a higher amount of money. That works with jobs too. If a person coming in equally qualified, we'll give the black person this much money. We'll give a white person who is equally, a lot of times less qualified, we'll give you this much money. They get into schools easier. Now, this is what I'd like to point out, because we're hearing this notion, and why I mentioned the thing about affirmative action is because we keep hearing this notion that black people get things easier because we're black. That is not the truth at all. That is not the truth at all. We don't get business loans easier. We don't get into college easier. We don't get houses easier. We don't get jobs easier. The only thing easier for us is to die and go to jail. That's the only thing that's easier for black people than white people, to get killed or to go to jail for something we didn't do. Or if we did do it, go to jail for much longer than we would if we were white. That's what's easier for us. So, you said we need our own capital, like Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin... I got to do my research on Bitcoin. I'm not exactly sure if that's capital. I don't know if that would be capital, but you're definitely right. We do need our own capital, which is why we need to stop giving our money to other groups of people and have our money bounce in our own community. And we need to eliminate the sellouts, the people who want to do things for clout and for attention like that one woman did. You can buy all your hair stuff on Amazon or at Walmart or anywhere else, or at a black-owned beauty supply store, which exists. Those exist. But black people don't want to do that with black people. Black people would rather risk their lives to shop at an Asian store than go to a black store. They'll make every excuse in the world as to why they don't shop with black people, but yet they will go to a store that's likely, if the person is likely to kill you, if you go to an Asian store, you're likely to probably die than you would at a black store, but you'll make an excuse to go to the Asian store versus the black store. That is something that we need to get out of our community. Another thing we need to get out of our community, like I said, how we need to separate, and we need to stop using the term people of color, stop using the term minority, because that, first off, what is a person of color? What is that technically? What are the qualifications to be a person of color, a people of color? Because the way we use it as if people of color is everybody not white. And when we use people of color, which is everybody not white, it gives the implication that everybody who is not white is in the same situation. And that could be farther from the case. That could not be farther from the case. Okay? That is the opposite of reality. Minority, the word minority is a tricky word because in the definition, that means the smallest amount, the least amount. So what makes people a minority? You being tall, technically you're a minority. If you're over 6 foot tall, you're a minority. If you're very short, you're a minority. If you're black, you're a minority. If you're gay, you're a minority. So white people can be a minority. White people can be a minority. Anybody can technically be a minority. Jeff Bezos is technically a minority. He's Cuban. Jeff Bezos is technically a minority. He's in the 1%, the richest people in the entire planet. I believe, the richest person in the world. Technically, the 1% is a minority. So where do we break the line off from minority? White women are not the minority in America, but we classify them as minority. So you see how tricky the word minority is? You see how tricky that is? And do you understand why we need to stop using that? Another thing that I want to bring up is the defense. When black people start defending these non-black groups. When black people finally start checking these non-black groups for what they have done to us historically, you have black people who will stand in front of other black people and will defend the groups of people who have been oppressing us. They will defend those people and attack other black people. Because to them, they hate themselves because they're black, and they want to be closely or more closely associated with non-black people. So I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to, hold on for 1 second, please. I'm just going to pull this one video up, and I am going to show you guys this video right here. Let me know what you think.
Saying this a lot lately, but this is for the black community. And yes, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I honestly don't give a damn. So for all the ones being racist and attacking Asians, y'all do know they had our backs, right? Y'all do know they had our backs, right? Yes, I'm gonna call out my own community, because every time a white person messes with us, we always on their neck. But lately, it's been black people from our own community messing with the Asian community. And I know a lot of y'all are gonna say some shit like, oh, what about what black people did to China? Or what about Latasha Harlins? That got nothing to do with what's happening right now. Lately on this app, I've literally seen Asians finally being heard on big platforms. And lately, I've seen some of y'all so-called activists getting a little jealous because y'all think it's gaslighting our people's issues. Not everything's about us. See, most of these crimes are happening in California, but I'm from Florida, and let me catch one of y'all jits slipping and messing with my Asian fam. I'm gonna beat the shit out y'all jits for real.
There's nothing wrong in calling out our own community, but we not just gonna sit here and act like this shit is finna slide. And for real, let me catch one of y'all jits slipping and messing with my Asian fam. I'm gonna crack y'all shit for real.
Alright. So when I saw that, because I was going to make a video about something kind of different, but when I saw that, I had to save that, and I had to make a video on that. Hold on, I'm gonna read your comment in a second before I lose my thought. Why? First off, let me break this down. Asians have never, ever, 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 ever had black people's back. That's a lie. That is a complete lie. I have no idea who lied to him. No idea where he got that from, but that's a lie. Asians have never done that. Asians, this is why it's important to watch that video that I made. Asians have been just as anti-racist against black people as everybody else. They've never had our backs. Asians are one of the biggest problems that black people have. If we're going to be honest, if we're going to be completely honest, Asians are one of our biggest problems. Asians have been the one who've been sucking out the resources in the black community like a damn tick, like a symbiote, like a virus, sucking out our resources and then beating us up for it. They suck out our resources and then beat us up. They've never had our back. Don't be fooled, okay? Don't be fooled by these non-black people who want to put BLM in their bios on Twitter. They want to put hashtag Black Lives Matter on an Instagram post, and now they have our backs. No, okay? First off, Black Lives Matter has been around for years. Black Lives Matter is not a new thing. Now, I'm not saying I'm necessarily a part of the Black Lives Matter group or organization. It's not really an organization, but the group and the ideology of the official leaders of the group, I don't follow that. But the Black Lives Matter idea, the idea behind Black Lives Matter has been around for years, okay? No other group has been supporting Black Lives Matter pretty much until very recently. There has been some individuals from other groups, don't get me wrong. There's been some individuals, but as a group, there's not been a black and Asian, black and brown, black in this coalition. There's been no coalition. Now that after George Floyd was murdered, after that, now everybody, and then immediately it was really black people who started it off. Black people who started the protests and all the riots and stuff like that. Black people who started setting shit off. Then everybody wanted to get on it. Then they're going to say, hey, we had your back, so why don't you guys have our back? How are you guys going to do this to us? We helped you. We supported you. Black Lives, the progress that was made last year would have been no different had Asians stayed home. I'm going to just be honest. They did not help at all. They were inconsequential. And I don't care who gets offended. Okay? They did not help at all. Their numbers aren't even big enough. The only thing that you can say they didn't shop at black-owned businesses. They didn't shop at black-owned businesses, which is what we need. We need the money, the resources, the tangibles. That's what we need. Putting a Black Lives Matter hashtag, okay, you can say, I'm trying to spread awareness for the issue or whatever. And there are some who are good-hearted people. There are some who do want to help the cause. I'm not saying all of them are the same. All of somebody from one group is not the same. That's not what I'm saying. But for him to say the Asian community as a collective had our backs is incorrect. That is totally incorrect. If Asians had our backs, then where were they when we would get murdered by the police? Exactly. If they had our backs, where were they? There was an Asian police officer. And I put this in my other video. So when you guys are done watching this, you guys can go watch that other video. There was an Asian police officer named Peter Liang. Peter Liang shot and killed a black man named Akai Gurley in New York City. He shot him. The bullet, it was like an accident or something. The bullet ricocheted, hit Akai Gurley in the heart. Akai Gurley didn't do anything. So Akai Gurley is bleeding out. And Peter Liang, the Asian cop, walked off and didn't try to give CPR, no aid, no nothing. Akai Gurley died. The Asian community, and when I say the Asian community, I'm not talking about just the Japanese, just the Chinese, just the Koreans. I'm talking about anybody under the umbrella of Asians. All the ethnic groups under the umbrella of Asians protested for Peter Liang. They protested saying what he did wasn't a murder. He didn't murder anybody. It was an accident. There are 2 victims. He's a victim too. And Peter Liang, of course, got off. Of course, he got off. So when an Asian kills a black person, the Asian community protested for the freedom of Peter Liang. You don't see them protest. Now, if it was the other way around, you wouldn't see them saying the same thing. Oh, it's an accident. It's an accident. They don't call anything that happens to them an accident. But when they do something to us, it's an accident. Okay? All these years of black women who go to these nail salons and they get beaten up, these hair care stores, and they get shot or attacked, choked out, punched in the face. All these years of that stuff. You don't hear the Asian activists speak that up. You don't hear about Asian actors saying, hey, as the Asian community, I gotta call out my own community. What is wrong with what he said, and what is all cool with what he said, is because you don't hear other groups of people saying, I'm calling out until very, very recently. And even when they do it subtly. They don't fully put their own people on blast. They damn sure don't threaten their own people. You wouldn't in a million years see an Asian activist saying, if I see an Asian person doing something racist to a black person, I'm going to attack you. You would never see that. Never once. You wouldn't see a Hispanic saying that. You wouldn't see a Jewish person or whoever. You wouldn't see any other minority saying, if I see you doing something racist to a black person, I'm going to attack you. But you see this dude, this light-skinned pretty boy, saying, first off, who is he? Did you see him? Did you honestly think he's gonna attack somebody and beat somebody up? It's almost daring me to go do something. Of course, I'm not gonna do it. I don't condone doing that. Let me make sure I'm clear on the camera. Please don't do that. Although I know we're not doing that. But so the reason why, because everything was, I might not have even put that in the video. If he didn't say that last part. He didn't say, I'm a crack you, I'm a beat you up or whatever. If I see you attacking my Asian fam. He didn't say, he said about the Latasha Harlings, an innocent black girl, because she was not a woman yet. She was still a kid. An innocent black girl who was shot in the back of the head and murdered for trying to buy juice from them. An innocent black girl, or the Asians who were beating black people up in the streets in Asia because of a virus that came out of China, they blamed black people for it and started evicting and beating black people up in the street. He says that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter what they've done to us. It's about what we're doing to them. It's not all about us. It's about them. It's not like, okay, we do wrong, they do wrong, but let's all come together. No. It's about them. It don't matter what we've done and what they've done to us. It's about them. Another thing that he's saying. Now, when you hear people talk about, let me calm down. When you hear people talk about, it's not all Asians, it's not all this, it's not all of that. As true as that kind of might a little bit be, as true as that might be, that it's not all in totality of every single group, it's not all of them, it might be a little true sometimes. It's not every 100%. There are no absolutes. But I want you to pay attention how when they're talking negatively about black people specifically, I want black people to really pay attention to this. Because when they talk about black, what's that term? Damn it. Black on black violence. When they talk about black on black violence, when they talk about negative things that are connected to the black community, they never specify it's not all. We can't say it's all. They don't say, oh, don't use broad terms because we don't want to imply that it's all. They never use specific terms to avoid the implication that it is the entire community. As a matter of fact, they imply that it is the entire community, that it is the collective of the community, that it is the culture. They blame it on the rap and on the single mothers and the absent fathers. They blame the entire culture for something that the criminal class does. And then we have stupid black people who want to get out and apologize and defend, well, we do got to get rid of black on black crime. We do got to do this. The number one most violent place in the world, you have the highest rate of murder there, is in Mexico. Okay? Now, you don't ever hear the Mexican activists, the Mexican community saying, oh, we do all this, what's that Mexican gang, the cartel. Well, we do have to speak out against the cartel, you know what I'm saying? What about Mexican on Mexican crime, you know? You don't ever see them saying stupid stuff like that. You don't see white people talk about white on white crime. It's just crime when everybody else does it except black people. When it's black people, it's black on black crime. And they say it in the broad and general term as if it is the entire community that does it. There is absolutely no special words. There's no, well, we can't judge all black people. When they say black on black crime, when they say things about the single mothers, the absent fathers, black people this, they don't make it a point to say, okay, it's not everybody. But when something is done to us, we have to make, oh, well, it's not all Asians. It's not all white people. It's not all cops. And they say that because black people are petrified, okay, of being seen as anti somebody else. Because black people, ultimately, the collective of us, and we need to get rid of this, we want to be accepted by another group. Black people want to be accepted by other groups of people. So we don't want to come off as if we're anti-white or anti-Asian. We don't want to come off like that. So that's why we kind of tone down with the revolutionary speak. That's why we preference, well, I'm not saying, like, so you know, I'm not saying all. I'm not saying all. Now, when you hear Richard Spencer, or when you hear Ben Shapiro, when you hear any of these Republicans, or when you hear even CNN, oh, the black on black crime in Chicago. What about Chicago? Now, when they say what about Chicago, they're pretty much implying only the black people in Chicago. What about the black people in Chicago? Do all black people in Chicago kill other black people? No. Are most black people in Chicago killing other black people? No. But they'll say Chicago as if everybody from Chicago is killing other black people. Every black person, mind you, from Chicago is killing somebody else black. These are things we have to pay attention to. This is why changing the way we speak and the terms that we use is very important. It is very, very, very important. Now, let me read some of the comments. It says, like, what would happen if we started our own electric transferable funds that we can spend with each other? I bet all other races would buy in our e-funds like they've done everyone else. Okay. That's an idea. Spending with each other. That's the goal. Because economics is the floor to everything. Economics is the goal. Okay? So as far as sorry, my phone's kind of going up. As far as black people saying things like that, defending other races of people, that stuff, I'm gonna be honest. If he was Asian, now I'm not gonna imply anything on this public platform, but I'm just gonna give you something to think about, right? If he was Asian, if this was an Asian man, a young Asian man, saying he would attack other Asians if he saw them being racist to black people, because when you have other groups of people calling out their own people, when you have them calling out their own people, they'll say, like, you know what? I've seen one time my grandpa said something and it was kind of racist, although he's kind of old, but you know what? We should kind of stop doing that. They really sugarcoat what they do, even when they're calling out their own people. They will make, well, yeah, but if they do, they're like, yeah, but black people do it to us too. So, you know, we get it. It's kind of on both sides. No, it's not, okay? But you would never hear them say they would attack their own people for us. No, you would never hear that. I want you to think about what would happen if he was a young Asian man and he made a TikTok saying, if I see an Asian person be racist to a black person, I'm going to knock the Asian person out. Now, think about if he said that on a public platform and then went back to his Asian family and his Asian family saw that. Just think, I'm not going to imply anything. This isn't implying anything. But I want you to think about what would happen to him when he got back to his community after saying he would attack his own people for the sake of us. Just think about what would happen when he went back to his own community, when he went around his own people. Think about how exactly they would check that type of behavior. That is how we need to check our behavior. Okay? Another thing, too, when he said, they're finally being heard. They're finally being heard. First off, they're finally being heard. Heard for what? Heard for what? Ain't nobody deserve to be heard but black people. I'm just keep it real. Everybody else has had the spotlight. Asians have got reparations. Asians have a higher medium of wealth, of income than white people. They deserve to be heard for what? Being called the coronavirus? Okay, I get that. They don't deserve to be heard for, police brutality, for discrimination. They're the ones doing that. They're the ones doing that. What do they need to be heard for specifically? Because when you ask a black person what black people need to be heard for, they can give you a longer laundry list of things that we need to be heard for, things that we need atonement for. When you ask other groups of people, they'll say, well, you know what? One time in high school, I was picking on this black kid, and this black kid, he made fun of my eyes. So, I just felt that was racist to me. I felt that, I was being treated racist for that. So, I'm just gonna keep in mind what exactly would happen if that was an Asian person who said he would attack Asian people for being racist to black people. Okay? Just think about how his people would handle him. And I submit to you that we need to handle our people somewhat the same way. Not implying what way that is, but you can figure that out. And another thing that I wanted to bring up. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Please make sure you leave a like because this channel is trying to reach 100 subscribers tonight. And I appreciate your support and I need your help to do that. So if you guys can leave a like, maybe a comment, a share, most appreciated, most definitely appreciated. All we need is one more, guys. Just one more. So just give it to a friend or whatever. Just help a brother out because we're in this together. Okay, we're all we got. We in this together. Another thing that I want to bring up about this Prince Harry thing, and I don't care about the royal kingdom, the this, the that, all that stuff. Prince Harry's married to a biracial woman, Meghan, right? Apparently they've been treating Meghan like a Negro. I don't know what she thought. Because here's the thing. When you're black, you can get a nose job, you can get your hair permed, you can bleach your skin. You are still black to them. They will not see you as anything that is not black. You still have black DNA. To the royal family, the racist ass royal family, she is black. Now somebody says Chinese parents would knock their kids out for calling out. Exactly. Oh, you definitely get handled. You definitely get physically handled if you go back saying you would beat up some Chinese people. You definitely get handled for that. You get handled by any other race for that. Any other race. When they call out their own race, they don't say they're going to attack. Oh, no. You only hear that dumb stuff from little goofy black dudes. Black people who want to be the Superman, the save-a-hole for all these other groups of people. But back to Meghan, right? So she's married to this white man. Didn't do the research, apparently. She had a video with Oprah. She didn't do... I have 100 subscribers. Oh, thank you. Hold on, let me not celebrate right now, because I would still want to stay heated. You know what I'm saying? I still want to keep that energy. Thank you. Eliza mentions, thank you. Appreciate that for letting me know. But she has 100. I was about to say she has 100 subscribers. She's married to this man. Okay, she's been like locked up. They stripped their royal titles for no other reason than the fact that she's black, or they view her as black, for no other reason than that she's not white. For no other reason. They talking about her. They're dogging her out for no other reason. She's not done anything. The fact that she's white. She's not white. She has a baby. She's pregnant now, but she has a baby. And as she was pregnant, they were talking about, that baby's going to be dark. That baby's going to be this. They don't like the fact that she's going to have a baby, and she has black DNA, so the baby's going to have black DNA. Oh, those racist people can't stand that. They cannot stand that. So, Prince Harry, I don't know if he's a prince. I think he's been struck. But Harry has defended his wife, saying, okay, you know what? I'm not going to mess with my family, blah, blah, blah. And then we had this interview. Now, I'm going to show this to you guys. I'm going to show you to you guys, and then I'm going to comment on it afterwards.
Prince Harry last night, look, he light-skinned Harry now. Because, you know what I'm saying? Harry, the way he was like, I had to do this for my wife, for my family. Did y'all know that I don't speak to my father anymore. He's been through this. How dare him ignore? And then they're going to cut us off. Well, come on through, Tyler Perry, and say, we got you. They came on over to the black side. See, that's what I'm telling you. He now light-skinned Harry. That's why.
He always been. Okay,
hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I probably should have taken my sip of water while the video was playing. Probably. Okay. Now I know. But, okay. Prince Harry is light-skinned Harry now. Yeah. That's light-skinned Harry for defending his wife that he bought into a racist family. Because let's not act like he didn't know that his damn family was racist. Let's not act like that. There are some who believe that he married a non-white person to get back at his family. He married her to get back at his family. So he bought that woman into his racist family So he gets no points at all for defending his family. Okay? He gets no points at all. And it's to say that's his damn wife. It's not like he's defending black people in general from the racism that the royal family has committed. He's not standing up for black people as a collective. He's standing up for the woman who he's married to and has children by. So you're going to give him the black card? You can invite him to the cookout? He's light-skinned Harry because he's defending the woman he married? Shouldn't he already do that? That's like let me think. There was one comedian, Chris Rock, when he was talking about how parents want to brag about doing a bare minimum for their kids. Oh, I fed my kid. I changed my kid's diaper. I take care of my kid. That's what you're supposed to do as a parent. You're supposed to do that as a parent. As a husband, if your family is treating your wife like a damn nigga, if your family's treating your wife like she's trash, you're supposed to defend her. You married her. You don't get extra points for being a basic husband, just like you don't get extra points for being a basic parent. You don't get extra points. Don't know where the black credentials are coming from. Don't know where the black credentials are coming from. Because he, in his defense of Meghan, he didn't bring up the fact that she's black. That's just his wife. Thank you, Hank. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you. Stay in touch with you. He doesn't get any extra points for that. Okay? Now, here's the thing too. Here's the thing. Cause she up there giving him big props. That's light-skinned Harry. You know, she's doing that. Now, if this was a black person who defended his wife, his black wife, would we be giving the same props to a black man? Will we be giving the same props? No, we would not. Short answer, no. We wouldn't. Because as a husband, that is what you do. That is what a husband does. Okay? You defend the person that you get married to. Okay? That is what you do as a husband. You being white, black, whatever, shouldn't matter. Okay? So you don't get... where does the race thing come in? You're giving him extra props because he's white. This is the issue with that. The issue with that is a black man can do the same thing. He can do the same thing, and he won't get no, oh, you a great husband, you deserve a trophy, husband of the year props. He won't get that from anybody. They'll be, oh, that's just what you're supposed to do. That's a basic husband thing. You got married, this is the job. But when a white person does it, even though he brought her into that situation, he gets a light skin. Now he's light skinned. He's light skinned because of that. The concept of black people giving non-black people the black card, the concept of black people giving non-black people the black card needs to be completely abandoned, canceled, it's over with, never to return again. There are some okay, cool, non-black people. They do not get the honorary black card. We're not, from now on, this is a rule, from now on, starting this date, the 14th of March in 2021, from now on, we do not give the black card to any group of people who is not black. We do not do that anymore. Okay? You know, oh, well, you kind of black, you kind of this, you know what I'm saying? No more inviting people to the cookout. Because they don't deserve it. You don't get invited to their cookout. Okay? You don't get invited to their cookout. You don't get honorary white. You don't get to have that stuff. But we give them the honorary black thing. Okay? The Justin Timberlake passes, the Eminem passes, all that's gotta go. All of that has gotta go. The light-skinned Harry passes. If we're doing what? It's not like he's risking his life to save black people. He's not putting his neck on the line to defend black people. He's doing the literal bare minimum, and he's getting a card. He's getting a card because black people have subconscious low self-esteem. Black people have subconscious low self-esteem. So black people internally, and they don't really realize this, but internally they feel like, hold on guys. Okay. Internally they feel as if blackness is not enough. They feel blackness is not enough. That's why they want to include other groups of people. That is why we have this thing where we want to be so diverse and so inclusive. Not for the we disguise that, we lie to ourselves and we disguise that as if this is the righteous thing to do, but it's really not. It's because of the fact that black people suffer from the stigma, the same stigma that other people feel that makes black people feel inferior, is the same stigma that we suffer from. We suffer from that treatment, and we feel as if blackness is not enough. So we need somebody else. That's why we want to include other people. That's why when we're talking about ourselves, we don't want to keep the focus on ourselves, because it can't be just black. It hurts us if it's just black. If it's just black, that bothers us. It makes our stomach turn. We have to get rid of that low self-esteem, Stockholm syndrome mindset that we have. That gives us the okay, please come in. You're invited to the cookout. Thanks for not calling me the N-word. Thanks for not being racist. So you get to come to our cookout for that. Now the Asians, they're not saying, oh, Asian, thanks for patronizing our businesses for all these decades. Even though we've been racist to you, you guys are invited to the cookout. You don't hear them saying that. Oh, you don't hear the Mexicans saying, oh, thanks for fighting for our immigration rights. You're invited to the cookout. You're invited to the cookout. Because in Chicago, in Little Village, they was killing black people just for being around their neighborhood. They literally killed black people for driving by their neighborhood. Okay? In Chicago. And you hear black people talking about, what about the kids in the cages? You hear black people talking about that. We got to do something about them. And they're over here, let's kill the niggers. That's what they're doing to us. So the concept of the black card, that's it. If you even attempt, this is another rule, okay? I'm writing rules down. If you guys have a piece of paper and a pen, you have one of these, you need to take notes, okay? The concept, if you're saying that you want to give somebody a black card, you lose your black card, okay? You ain't invited to the cookout. You think you're bringing somebody along to the cookout? Oh no, the cookout is exclusive family only, okay? Somebody says, my wife is white and I treat her like everybody else. If she don't defend me, if she don't defend me, if she had a racist family, then we'll get a divorce. She don't get a black card for that. Thank you. You're not getting a black card for doing what you're supposed to do as a spouse. You are supposed to, if your family is unjustly messing with your spouse and you defend the person that you got married to, that you're supposed to live for the rest of your whole life with, you're supposed to sleep with this person in the same house, in the same bed, until you both die, until one of you dies. I mean, unless you guys both die at the same time, but until one of you dies, until death do you part. That's what marriage is supposed to be about. You don't get any extra points for defending the person that you got married to. You damn sure don't get no damn black card for that. You damn sure don't do that. Especially after you put her in that racist house. You are a prince from a racist family. You get married to the girl who's not white, knowing how your family's going to treat her. Bring her back to the castle or the kingdom or whatever the hell. And then they treat her like that. And then you get to say, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to defend her. So you get a black card? You get a black card when you put her in there? You get a black card after you put her in there? Somebody said, if you marry a biracial, you're supposed to ride or die for that person. If you marry biracial, like biracially, okay, yeah, if you marry biracial, you're supposed to ride or die for that person. There is no or die. There's no or die. Um, if we're married, and you will not ride and die, yeah, he's absolutely right. There's no ride or die. Once you are married, there is ride and die. There is no jumping off ship. Okay, when you get married, you're getting on a plane without a parachute. Okay, you either gonna ride to this destination or you gonna crash with the damn plane. You can't jump off the plane after you get married. Okay, that's the problem with this generation. You get married, okay, and you on a ship, but you got the lifeboat already packed up. So when the second the ship starts to shake a little bit, you get on the lifeboat. There's no oar. There is no oar. Okay, that's what marriage is supposed to be about. It's not supposed. I understand divorce, whatever, but there shouldn't, in principle, there shouldn't be an or. Okay. There shouldn't be you know what, I can defend you, I can be a good spouse, or I can not, There's no I cannot. You don't know what marriage was, you don't know what your position was. But let me finish reading. Ride and die for me, then you're against me, plain and simple. Yeah. You're against the person, and this is the important thing too. Some of y'all need to recognize. When you get in a relationship with a person, you're not just getting on a relationship. When you get into a marriage with a person, you are marrying into that person's family. And you can study history and everything like that. Marrying a person connects the two families. Okay? That's why marriage back in the day was such a political thing. Because it connects two families. So, if that person, for my family won't mistreat, if I get married, my family won't mistreat my wife, right? If I felt that they would, it is my job to make sure she is in the most comfortable, safe position. If I lived in a big mansion and my whole family was racist, and my whole family is racist, and they're treating her like crap, and I knew that they were going to do that. I knew how my family was, and I knew my family was going to treat her. I was going to mistreat her. Then I don't get any points for defending. her. Somebody says, "What is your thoughts on interracial relationships?" Hold on, let me take a sip of water for this. Personally, I'm not for it. I'm gonna be honest. It's gonna offend some people. Personally, I am not for it. I am not for it for this reason. Now, in principle, it should be fine. I'm not for it for black people for this specific reason. Because black people have this non-black messiah complex. Black people have this non-black messiah complex, and black people believe that the other race of people is above them. So a lot of times when black people marry outside of their race, there is an imbalance of power because of that other person's race. And a black person knows this and allows this. Okay? Right now, black people need strong black families. This isn't to hate necessarily on people who are not married to black people, but black people need to prefer black families. You cannot build a black family with a non-black person. If you're married to a non-black woman, or if you're married to a non-black man, that is not a black family. Even though you're black and your children will be black, that is not a non-black family. That's the truth. But black families is what we needed. Black families is what's being sabotaged. So, I am not for that at all. And a lot of the times, due to the way the whole world is set up with white supremacy, and there is a big power difference between black people being at the bottom and everybody else being a step or two above black people, that the non-black person will have more power in the relationship than the black person. Even if the black person is making more money, if the black person has higher social power, if the black person has this, if the black person has this, if you're married to a white woman, one call from the police can ruin everything her black husband has. Now, if you're a black woman and you call the police on your white husband, they're gonna be like, ma'am, turn around, we're gonna have to arrest you. It don't work the other way around. But if you're a white woman, you call the police on your black husband, he's going to jail, or maybe worse. There is a huge power difference. Okay? This isn't to say, I hate people who do it. I don't agree. I don't support it. You should I prefer my own people. At one point I didn't think that way. But I know this might offend people, but that's just the situation. That's the way it is. You have to be brutally honest with that. Because there's a limit to how pro-black you can be. There's a limit to how pro-black you can be when you're married to a non-black person. And that's just the honest truth. Let's say, and let me give you an example as to why. Let's say I, God forbid, marry a non-black woman, right? Let's say that. I become rich off this YouTube thing, off my other projects, off of something. I'm a rich person. We need, as black people, generational wealth. Wealth that's passed down generation and generation. If I die and my spouse is not black, all my resources, all my everything goes to her next. Unless my kids are old enough to take it, if I have kids and they're old enough to take it, and I write in my will that the kids get everything, but who does that? Nobody writes their wife, their married spouse out their will. So she's going to get stuff. She is going to get stuff, and that's not going to be in a black community. So your resources, all that stuff is going to go outside of your community. Okay? Because the thing is, when black people marry other black people, when black people marry other non-black people, it confuses black people. Sex confuses, the interracial relationships confuse black people. Because every single day you wake up to a non-black person, you're starting to think that, oh, you know what, maybe they're all not like this. The revolutionary energy and spirit dies down in black people. It doesn't faze white people. It does not faze white people. There was white slave owners raping their black slaves and male slaves, the women and the men. It didn't faze them. Having sex with a black person doesn't faze a racist person, but it phases a black person. Okay. This is not to say that I don't it can't work for everybody. This isn't to say that. But if you ask me, do I think it matters? Yes, it does matter. It absolutely does matter. So say, your heart can't choose a color. Mine can. Mine definitely can. I married two other black women that both cheated on me, and I didn't marry this white girl now because of that. But the why your women dog us out, then ask us why we can't find good black men. Now, as far as black women and the issues that black women have, black women do have a lot of issues. And I can see the problems with the reason why they get married so low. Their low marriage rate. I honestly do understand that. I intend to fix that. Okay? I intend to fix that. Now what you're saying, you said he married two black women and they both did him dirty. They both cheated on him. Did they cheat because they were black though? Like, let's not generalize cheating as if cheating is just a black person thing or a black woman thing. And this isn't to say black men are doing their jobs as husbands to black women or as leaders to black women. This isn't to condone what your ex-wives have done. But this is to say, let's not, okay, oh, I married these two black women, they did me dirty, I married, and I'm not saying that you married, because you stated before that you married a white woman. I'm not saying you married her because she was white. The thing is, her being white was not a deterrent. Her being white was not a deterrent. Your heart can go to anybody. The thing is, when your heart can go to anybody, your mind can go to anybody. Your mind can go to anybody. Your spirit can go to anybody. Mine can't. If you ask me personally, I could never see myself in an interracial relationship ever. Period. But I used to be able to. Used to. Not no more. Period. At all. At all. I have family members who are married to in non-black relationships, and that's okay for them. I don't look at them any different. I don't talk bad about them. I don't support that. I'm just keep it real. And they married to nice women too. They married to nice women. I don't think they're bad women. I don't think they're racist women. It is the principle of the fact that they are white, and this is a white supremacist system. Their marrying a black person does not separate them from the white supremacist system. Okay? Do you know how many Karens were on the phone and they're dating black men? They're dating black men. Do you know how many Proud Boys are married with children to black women? Marriage doesn't affect their racism. They can be married for 10 years, wake up every single day just as racist. It only confuses black people to think that marrying somebody and being close to a non-black person, they can relate to you and they can love you as a person. And they might love you individually as a person, but they can love black people like you do. They can kind of see the world through a black person's eyes. They don't. It won't faze them. It won't change them. And I'm not saying that all interracial relationships you're married to a racist person. I'm just saying this is the way it is as a collective in general. As far as black women, and I am going to have to make another live about this because I keep getting dragged. By black women on Twitter, which you guys should check out. The link should be in the description below. But as far as black women dragging black men out, the weakest link thing, and I've mentioned that in my previous lives. I'm going to make a separate live about that. That stuff is off code. Anything anti-black, anything that anti-black unity between black men and black women, oh, that's off code. That's definitely off code. And that needs to stop. Just like that little light-skinned dude, who, not to mention, he was not a foundational black American, by the way. Just like he was off code, black women can be equally as off code. Just like the whole light-skinned hairy thing, just like that's off code, black women can be off code. Black women can be very, very, very off code. Okay? Being off code is not a gender-specific thing. So the black women who are like, black men don't protect us, black men, niggas ain't shit, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff, off code. Now, as much as black men can do better, should do better, all races of men can do better and should do better. But you don't hear white women, even if they talk about misogyny and the patriarchy and all that stuff, you don't hear them put their men's race into it. They'll use men as a general broad term. But you don't hear white women talking about, oh, white men ain't shit. White men ain't shit. You don't hear an Asian woman talk about Asian men ain't shit. A Latina woman talk about Latina men ain't shit. You don't hear them say that. But you will hear a black woman say that. You will see TikToks and Instagram posts of black women talking about, see, black men this, see, well, we never get defended, and you can go back to my previous videos I did about the gender war, about the fact that this gender war concept is getting pushed in our community, and is giving these black women the idea that black men are just these evil. We intrinsically hate black women. Black women sticking their necks out for us, but we intrinsically hate them. That's a lie. That could be further from the truth. There is no group of men, and I'm not saying every black man is a great, wonderful, upstanding individual. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there is no history proves this. There is no group of men that has benefited and defended black women more than black men. And there will never be. There will never be. Vice versa as well. But there will never be. So for these divest, because that's the thing, if you go on Twitter and use hashtag divest Twitter, divest, you'll hear black women who really want to slave play. What they do is they want to be with a white person. They want to be with a non-black person, but they don't want to seem like a sellout for it because they want to be with a non-black person because they're non-black. That's why I'm saying this interracial thing. That it's a lot of twisted agendas and sicknesses in it. They want to be with a non-black person simply because the criteria of the non-black person and the black person are the same. It's just the fact that they're not black, which puts them up here. And there's some black men who do that as well. However, it's not nearly as supported as the divest of black women who do that. And I'm just gonna be honest about that. Though you don't hear when a black man says for whatever reason he prefers a non-black woman to a black woman, you don't see hundreds of black men like, yeah, bro, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, bro. It don't go viral with thousands of black men backing that up. If it was the other way around, it does a lot of times. Okay, I'm not saying anything that you can't go on the internet and see. You can go on the internet. You can go on my Twitter page and you can see that. You can see how I expose that. Okay, I'm not making that up at all. So as far as these divest Twitter, as far as these black women who dog out black men as if any other group of men would do better by them. As if any other group of men would do better by them. Okay? I've literally seen videos of black men running into burning buildings to save black women that they don't know. It's not like oh, that's my mom, that's my girl, this is my child. I don't know this woman from a hole in the wall. But I ran in a burning building before the white firefighter does to save her. You don't see a whole bunch of videos of white men risking their lives for black women. You don't see that. And as far as the diverse Twitter, and I'm going to read your comment in a minute. As far as your diverse Twitter, there was a football player named Chad Wheeler. He's like this huge, was like almost like 6'8", almost 10 foot tall. Black people, dude from the football. He was from the Seahawks, I believe he was, in the NFL. And he had a black girlfriend. And he almost beat his black girlfriend to death. He almost beat her to death. He thought he did beat her to death. He went in the bathroom. I was like, oh, you're still alive? As he eating food? Thought he did beat his black girl to death. And that story kind of like, it was there and then it went away. The stories of white men mistreating their black girlfriends is there and then it goes away. They don't really talk. They don't give it the Ray Rice treatment where it's on magazines, it's on news 24/7. Shia LaBeouf, he's another one. He had like a black actress girlfriend, and then she said, "Oh, he's treating me like this." I've heard racist things from Shia LaBeouf. Well, not him saying it, but I've heard comments that Shia LaBeouf has done some racist things as well. For those who don't know, Shia LaBeouf was the dude in the first 3 Transformers movies. He's been in some other movies as well, but that's probably where you will know him from the most. I've heard him do stuff like that as well. But you don't see them talk about that. So as far as the black women, if you're going to call out injustice that's done to black women, that is okay, that is appropriate, and that should be done. But don't be like, okay, domestic violence is wrong if it's a black person who does it, if it's a black man who does it, if it's a straight black man who does it. Because I've seen several videos of gay black men fighting women, as if being gay doesn't make you a physical man. I've seen videos of that. But the attention and the attack is on straight black men. That needs to stop. I'm going to make my own video about that. I might have a guest or something like that about that. I am going to do that. Let me read some of the comments. It says, why do our black women call the police on us? Oh, as far as black people calling the police on other black people, we need to stop that. That needs to, because what you're doing is you're trying to get them killed. You can't. You're trying to get them killed at that point. Because the police, you're calling the police on domestic violence or mental problem, anything like that. They come. They already have an excuse on the way that you're acting violent. So they can shoot you pretty much on sight. So if you call the police on another black person, unless that black person is trying to kill you or kill somebody else, that's off code, okay? Now, if they're trying to kill you, they'll be like, well, it's off code to call the police. Then you can call the police. If somebody's going to die by that other person. But if you call the police because you just got into an argument or whatever, oh, that's way off code. That's treacherous, and that needs to be dealt with treacherously. We need to deal with our traitors how I established how Chinese people would deal with their traitors. Why are our black women so quick to jump when you are literally give them everything they ask for? Like I said, as far as the marriage thing, there's no jumping ship when you get married. That's why marriages and relationships don't work out. Is because you're not both feet in. You're 1 feet in and then 1 feet out. If you ask your grandparents, who pretty much was married since they were like 18 years old, they were married from high school. After they graduate high school, they got married and they stayed married. And now we have people in this generation who can't stay married for like 5-6 years. And the older generation got damn near 60 years on us. Is because of that concept. In general, black people refuse to stick together. Also, black women keep calling the police, man, so on us kicking us out the house. Black men stand up for this. Well, we can't help raise children the correct way. Use the racist system. It says, how many good black men do you personally know that constantly screwed over by black women that use racism? Now, here's the thing. Here is the thing with that. As far as what black men need to do. Because what I don't like is that we're going to use these, okay, black men do this, black women do this to black men, black women do this. There's a lot of nonsense that black men do to black women too. And I'm not going to compare the two right now because that's not really what the topic of the video was necessarily for, or it kind of does fit. But I want to make another video about that. But as far as since we're on the topic, as far as what black men need to do that, is because there can't be for a man and a woman in the house. This is just what I believe. This is what has worked in the past. This is what I believe works now. If you and your wife are on an equal level, if y'all do the 50-50 thing, then you're pretty much just a roommate. You're not the leader. You can't be the social leader if you're not the financial leader. If your income is equal to her income, if you're paying just as much of the bills as she's paying, if y'all go 50-50 on everything, is if she leaves you, you lose the house just as much as if you leave her, she loses the house. If damn near, and in a lot of the cases, it's the other way around. It's you using a black woman's credit, the black woman's car, the black woman's this. You're using her resources. Even if you're making the money and stuff like that, it's her. The stuff is in her name, all that stuff. If it's in your name, if you have the power, okay, yeah, she can call the police, which is treacherous. Like I said, and that needs to be dealt with by other black. Here's the thing. Treacherous black women, like the black woman I showed you with the light skin hairy thing, treacherous black women need to be dealt with by on code black women. Okay? Black women need to check other black women. The black women who are off, just like black men need to check other black men, which is why I made that video of that little light skinned pretty boy who wants to beat up black people for the cause of Asians. I'm doing that to check him black women need to check other black women. Not just say, oh, I don't agree, but I'm going to be silent and I'm not going to say anything, but I disagree with that. They need to check them out and call them out on that BS, okay? Because we have this thing in our community, well, it's kind of like in a Western society where girls don't call girls out, women don't call women out, women stick on code. So they really like, even though I might not do it, I'm not going to say you're wrong for doing it. That needs to stop. Okay? Like I said, a black woman can be off code just as much as a black man can. And this isn't me attacking black women. I put that video up there and I'm going against the little goofy nigga who wants to beat black people up for harming his Asian fam. So this is about every person who is off code. It doesn't matter if you're male, female. It doesn't matter if you're light skinned or dark skinned. It doesn't matter if you're this religion, that religion. If you're rich, if you're poor. If you are off code, you need to be dealt with as if you are off code. Because in any other community, they deal with every single person as if they're off code. They don't have a thing where the Asian community, they don't have a thing where they check the Asian men who are off code, but they won't check the Asian women who are off code. They check anybody under the umbrella of Asian. If you're off code, if you're rich, poor, famous, not famous, if you're male, female, it doesn't matter. If you're off code, you get checked like you're off code. And that's what black people need to adapt. Okay? So what he's saying, the commenter is making valid arguments. These things, and this is why I'm going to kind of save this for another video, or I'm going to touch back on this a little bit more on another video. These things need to be called out by other black women. And a lot of times, I defend, and you can see on my social media, I defend the black women who call out off-code people. I defend them. They'll be called pick-me's or whatever. Oh, you just want a guy to pick you or whatever. They call that stuff when they get called out. Now, as a black man, this is what I can do. I can defend you when you're being attacked. I can defend you when you're being attacked for calling somebody out. But you need to be in a position to call them out. It is black women who need to call them out. And when they're coming at you for calling them out, then I can step in as a black man and defend you. But when I'm calling them out, it can put the false perception that, okay, you're a man calling a woman out. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we need to start doing that. If you're the one doing everything and she's using racism, call the police because she knows it for a fact. Okay, yeah, okay. And my thing was that, can a white woman not do the same thing? Because you're saying these things and you're making it seem as if, okay, this is something a black woman does and black women do that. Can a white woman not do the same exact thing? Because everything you just listed is something a white woman can do and does do. But you're putting this on, well, black women do this, black women do this, black women do this. Can a white woman, do white women not do that? Do white women not lie on black men? I mean, like, I don't think I want to bring up Emmett Till again. Do white women not lie on black men? Do white women not set black men up? If we're going to be honest with that, if we're going to be fair, just like I said earlier, saying black women, just like I was establishing. Oh, if you're coming in, please leave a like too. Please leave a like too. But just like I said, no other group of men would do you better than a group of men that are black men to black women. Just like I said that to them. All these things a black man does that are wrong, another man can do too. All these things that a black woman does that is wrong. This is why I'm saying we need to start checking and breeding a better generation of black people. This is for people to educate and breed a better generation of black people. There are some black women who just don't deserve to get married. And I'm just being honest. And a lot won't. A lot of them won't. There are some, and if you feel That she's the type of person who would call the police on you, do that and all that stuff, mess you up, try to get you killed. Hey, you know, that needs to be handled. That needs to be handled. And we need the black women in the community to handle that. But if all women believe that they are never wrong, an argument or anything, you know the saying by women, how they get, or how they say they're never wrong. But if you're never wrong, how do you go? Here's the thing. The concept that a woman is never wrong, is a lie. It's a big lie. It's a huge lie. It's a gigantic lie. There is no, I'm in this group, so I am never wrong. That's dumb. That is dumb. If you honestly believe that, you probably hit your head when you were a baby or something. Like, I'm just being honest. You believe in a lie. Most people don't believe that. They know it's a lie. Now let me see. What was I about to say? For the men who say, and that's the thing. When you have the resources, when the house is in your name, when the car is in your name, when the bills are in your name, when she is living off of your resources or whatever, if she leaves you, your life is not going. The thing is, as a man, you should set your life up to be where, if she does leave you, if she wakes up in the morning and say, I don't love you anymore, I want a divorce, I'm leaving, your life should not change. If you have, let's say she takes the house, you should be at a position, I can get another house. I can get another house. I can get another car. I can get everything back again. But if her leaving you is going to destroy you, then the problem is the fact that you are not on the level you should have been as her husband. That's the thing. Because it's not like the wife should leave the husband and then the whole house comes crashing down. Now he's broken, destitute, living on the street. That shouldn't be like that. The thing is that some women do that. Some women just betray their men. Just wake up, I don't love you anymore. I'm out of here. I want to take everything too. Okay. You can take the house. Can you keep the house? You can take the car. You can take this, you can take that. I can get those things back. I already have another house. I already have another car. All right. Can you keep that though? You probably can't pay the mortgage on it, but can you keep it? Keep it. Take it. And I'll have my own house over here. And I'll get married to somebody who appreciates this. And then you'll be calling back like, you know what, I want to talk about it. I want to work things out. No, it's good. You have the house. You have what you really wanted. So keep that. You can take the dog too. No, actually don't take the dog. But you know what I'm saying? That's the position you want to be in. Because you can get betrayed. You can get betrayed. So you do need that cushion. And the thing is, the system is set up where if the woman does that, she's probably going to turn out in the divorce. In most divorces, this goes for every race. In most divorces, the woman turns out with the better end of the stick of a divorce almost every single time. So that's why if you are going to get married, despite the race you are, the race your wife is, if you are going to get married, then you need to have that cushion. Let me see. Black women did it to me, and no white women get a pass for me. I'm O.J. Simpson. I don't give a fuck what color you are. Just color. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you betray somebody, and here's the thing too, as a community, we need to stop allowing other people in the community to do wrong by people in our community. That's why I brought that those videos up. The light skinned dude. Let me show it to you guys again. Let me show it to you guys again for the people who might be just coming in. Let me show it to you guys again. Hold on. It's
saying this a lot lately, but this is for the black community. And yes, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I honestly don't give a damn. So for all the ones being racist and attacking Asians, y'all do know they had our backs, right? Y'all do know they had our backs, right? Yes, I'm gonna call on my own community, because every time a white person messes with us, we always on their neck. But lately, it's been black people from our own community messing with the Asian community. And I know a lot of y'all are gonna say some shit like, oh, what about what black people did to China? Oh, what about Chashapp? That got nothing to do with what's happening right now. lately on this app, I've literally seen Asians finally being heard on big platforms, and lately I've seen some of y'all so-called activists getting a little jealous because y'all think it's gaslighting our people's issues. Not everything's about us. See, most of these crimes are happening in California, but I'm from Florida, and let me catch one of y'all just slipping and messing with my Asian fam. I'm gonna beat the shit out y'all just for real.
There's nothing wrong in calling out our own community, but we not just gonna sit here and act like this shit is for the slide. And for real, let me catch one of y'all just slipping and messing with my Asian fam. I'm gonna crack y'all shit for real. Alright.
Do you hear the way you say community? Community. I thought that was funny. A little bit. But people like him, like I'm saying, we need to have a culture where people, he does that because he doesn't feel like he's going to be checked by black people. An Asian person would never do that because they know when they go to their Asian community, when they go back home, they know they're going to be checked by their people. You get checked when you betray the group, when you do wrong by other black people, when you do wrong by other people of your own group. Black people are the only people who get away from being shiesty and being bogus to our own people. You don't get to betray your own people in the Asian community and get away with that. But as a black person, you get to betray other black people and you get to get a pass with that. That needs to stop. Okay? All that betraying the group needs to stop. All that inviting other people in the group needs to stop. For the people, I'm going to show you the light-skinned hairy thing that I was referencing again to the people. I'm going to show all the videos again one more time before I wrap it up. This is now, actually, I'm going to show the black shopper before. Because he's talking about here, he's going to knock somebody out from the black community for attacking Asian people. But he's not going to do that to an Asian person for attacking black people. So what would he say if he saw this? Now, this is what black people go through every day, shopping with Asians, which we need to stop doing completely. No, abandon Asian businesses. From now on, you're off code if you patriotize Asian business. That's a nail salon, the hair supply store, their restaurants, whatever. Any of those, that's off code. There's no exception to that. Okay. But now, as he's defending Asians, as he's bold, standing up for the defense of Asian people against black people, this is what black people are going through in the Asian supply store, which we should stop doing.
So I am currently in the beauty supply store in Norwood by Xavier University. And I had somebody following me so closely, like every time I turned, he turned. Like it was real ridiculous, right? A staff member approached me like, "You okay?" Because they saw the stuff going on. So I politely told them when I came to the front how I felt as a patron of this store, like I was being intimidated because I was black and I did not need to be followed because I'm not going to steal. The gentleman here proceeds to then get smart with me, start talking in whatever Korean or whatever language he speaks, and start yelling. So then I start getting loud too, like, look, no, you need to understand, you guys are minorities as well, and it's wrong to treat people like that. We patronize them, and then they treat us with disrespect. They got their phones on me, I don't care about none of that. They threatening to call the police on me. What they need to understand is, like I told them, call the police, because I have a right to express how I feel as a patron of this store. I said that you also should probably, let's do this together, sis.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. So, she's going in now, like I said, we got the black dude, okay? He's going around talking about he's going to beat black people up on behalf of Asians, and Asians treating black people racist as hell, like they always have been. Another thing, black people, like I said, stop shopping at these damn Asian. If an Asian owns it, don't buy it from it. Don't shop at it. Don't spend your money. Okay? You need to prioritize shopping with black businesses so we can keep the money stay bouncing in the black community. Okay? As far as going into the Asian stores, what she's doing now is because everybody knows how Asians act to black people. That's been a long running joke how you, when you go to an Asian store, they like, hurry and buy it. And they looking around the corner, watching you, following you. She knew that was going to happen. That's probably not her first racist experience from that Asian store. But now it's funny. It's funny and you can go viral. Well, it's not funny. You can go viral. It's trendy to do that. So you go and you put yourself in a situation where you're going to be treated racist. And you go, guys, they're being racist to me. They're being racist. Follow me on Instagram. No, we're not doing that no more. I almost to kill 2 cops if my mother didn't stop me that night. And okay, oh yeah, I'm reading now. I'm like, oh wait, how do we get it? Yeah, the police held both my exes, and by the way, took my kids from me illegally. Basically, the police held one of my exes kidnapped. Oh wow, that's really messed up. Killed 2 cops. I'm glad you didn't. My mother didn't stop me, and had my entire hood on lockdown. I don't give a fuck. It says, if I would ever gave the word, it would have been war, and that is on the entire truth. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's a shame. That is an absolute shame. Like I said, treachery needs to be dealt with. Treachery. I'm starting to sound all weird like that one dude. Treachery needs to be dealt with. Okay? Now I'm going to show this other video, which is why we need to stop including giving the damn black card, giving this black card, black credentials. Oh, you're kind of black now, you know what I'm saying? All that, okay? Let me show you something else we're going to stop doing.
Prince Harry last night, look, he light-skinned Harry now. Because, you know what I'm saying? Harry, the way he was like, I had to do this for my wife, for my family. Did y'all know that I don't speak to my father anymore. He's been through this. How dare him? And then they're going to cut us off? Well, come on through, Tyler Perry, and say, we got you. They came on over to the black side. See, that's what I'm telling you. He now light-skinned Harry. That's why.
He always been. He always been. Always been like that.
Harry is not light-skinned. He ain't light-skinned. Because the thing is, now here's the thing. When a white person, and going back to the interracial thing, when a white person marries a black person, and that white person gets to go back to the white side. Go back to that. See, that doesn't affect white people like it affects black people. When you're marrying a white person, you're compromising yourself, and that's just the truth. Okay? Statistics prove that. When a white person marries a black person, that white person is not compromised. That white person can be the poor person. The black person can be the breadwinner. When a white person gets married to a black person is compromised, not the white person. Because the white person can do things to the black person that the black person cannot do to the white person. Okay? And this really goes for all non-white people. When a black person marries a non-black person, that non-black person has powers and abilities backed up by this system that they can do to the black person that the black person can't do to the non-black person. So all that light skin, all that past, all that everything, we're done with that. We're through with that. It's over. It's over. Okay? Wrapping this thing up, I want to say, let me just check out something real quick. Okay. Wrapping this thing up, I want to say thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I'm at 100 subscribers now. I feel so special. Now. But thank you guys for that. I'm going to be having merchandise soon. There's going to be giveaways and things like that coming up with the merchandise. Just let me get that stuff together. There's going to be that coming up. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the other videos. You should probably, because I touched on these in my other videos about the Asians, you should probably watch that one. That was really blowing up. That's my biggest video so far. So you should probably watch that one. The Black Gender War one, you should watch that too. I'm having more interesting interactive lives coming up as well, so you guys should definitely be looking forward to checking those out as well. So definitely subscribe. If you're not subscribed, do that, please. You can follow me on my social media so you can check out the proof and the receipts to every